On May 19, 2019, HBO released the final episode of Game of Thrones, and since then, there has been a lot of hate going around over the way that the series ended. Most of that hate is directed towards D.B. Weiss and David Benioff, its showrunners. They are accused of being incompetent writers, never mind the fact that they were praised for their work with the earlier seasons. But here's the deal. If one really wants to hate on someone for the way that the story went, they really need to be hating on George R.R. Martin, the author of the novels the show is based upon. Well, hate, that may be too strong a word, but in an interview shortly after the final episode, Martin pretty much confirmed that the way that the show ends is essentially the way the books will end, though he inferred that there will be more character viewpoints involved, with some things happening a little differently. It's his story. In the earlier seasons, when the showrunners were receiving much less criticism, they were working with completed books as their source material. But later, they ran out of completed novels and had to base the screenplays on more general information Martin could provide. Winds of Winter, the current book Martin is working on, was more fleshed out, so the material from that part of the whole story would be more plentiful than that of A Dream of Spring, which is to be the final book. Martin hasn't even started writing that yet, so the show's concluding episodes are based entirely on incomplete material, and material that is likely more akin to bullet points rather than actual notes. Yeah, Martin probably told them what ultimately is going to happen, but without the nuance and depth of an actual written story. When considering that, I feel that the showrunners did the best they could with what they were given. In my opinion, it would have been better for them to have paced the production of the show with the release of the last two novels. But Martin has a very long writing cycle for his books. He's been working on Winds of Winter for years. While tying the production cycle to the book releases would have resulted in a more solid and deeper screenplay story, time does not stand still. Actors age. Audience interest shifts. No production company with half a brain is going to support an 8-season show with several years between its last few seasons. HBO already got raked over the coals by fans for putting such a long delay between seasons 7 and 8, and for making those seasons 7 and 6 episodes respectively, when seasons 1 through 6 all had 10. No, for better or worse, when you take everything into account, Season 8 went down the best way it possibly could in terms of bringing Martin's story to the screen, with that story still being incomplete in its original medium. Fans may disagree and may go into detail about how Daenerys should have had this and Jon should have had that, and that's fine for fan fiction. But it is not the story Martin is telling, whether fans like it or not. I realize that this is not a popular opinion, and I don't care. Life is not a popularity contest. We are not entitled to tell an author how to write his own story, and an author is not obligated to write their story the way their readers think it ought to go. Readers may ask an author for more clarity on something that their books might not explain. But I'm sure that Martin will go the extra mile when he gets to A Dream of Spring to make sure that all the dots that have been scattered since the beginning are connected, except for the ones he wants to leave as possible hooks for carrying on the story if he sees fit. But as far as the show goes, Game of Thrones is done. And it was a good 9-year ride. Now we've got the rest of House of the Dragon and other forthcoming shows of Ice and Fire to get angry about. And that, my friends, is my take on the matter. Please post your comments below. And if you enjoyed this commentary, please like and share it, and consider subscribing to my channel for more content like it. I'm Gregory Jackson. Thanks for listening.